I read a couple of headlines this week. I just logged onto the internet and it was there on MSN, and I thought that's amazing. And we've talked a lot about, because I went to Twycross and talking about animals and that. Some of the headlines obviously were related, and one was zoo related, and I just thought, imagine if that came onto the news at 10. The headline just said, "Zookeeper killed by rare white lion," and I thought, well, is the fact that he's a zookeeper just like an aside, and he was just walking along the road one day and a rare white lion ran out from behind a bush, or was he actually in the cage?
In which case, it's probably his own fault.
Yeah.
Well, he was sort of looking after it, I think, cleaning it or feeding it.
I think I saw this story. He'd worked there. Surely he'd worked there for years.
Yeah. That's right. Yeah, and they made a few tributes to him and said he was so good with the animals. And at the end of the article, I don't know which article you read, but it said the reason for the mauling has not been verified. And I thought, well, what were they doing? Interviewing the lion?
Well, I'll tell you why. The lion's a wild animal. It
Exactly.
doesn't matter that you caged it up.
Cage him up.
And it's just going to make him madder.
That's it. He was probably.
It's going to be like that monkey just gathering up stones.
Yeah.
Except because they have paws, it wouldn't.
And a
Could
massive
lions throw things?
jaw.
No,
No.
no, they can't.
No, they
because
can't.
They
They haven't
have
got opposable thumbs.
Yeah.
It would just be like doing that.
They'd have to kind of like paw it. Like cats do when they're playing with balls of wool.
Yeah,
Kind of
that's
just-
not how he died. I think like it I think it
I
stuck
know,
its
it's
claws
suggested.
into his abdomen or something like that.
What is it with people keeping big cats, though? Have you seen...
Well, it used to be legal until like the late 60s in this country.
it's still legal in America. Apparently, there's
pumas and things like that.
obviously most tigers lived in Asia, and specifically there was a lot of tigers in India, and now the tiger population's dipped, and there's actually more tigers living in captivity in America now than anywhere else in the world.
Well, I just
What
think,
is it? What? I don't
Well, they
understand
like to
that.
show off and say, I've got a dangerous animal. I think that's why people have vicious dogs as well. But I think if, like the Bengal tiger or one of those type of tigers where they're dangerously low, they could die out, and they should just be taken and put into breeding programs. Otherwise, we're going to lose species. Or the Siberian tiger.
The latest thing that they're doing now is they're introducing like wallabies, and they're saying get wallabies as pets, like in the UK.
Impractical, I would think.
But yeah, it says that you need something like an acre or half an acre or something of land and like a massive fence, so
This
that
is
they
mental.
don't like jump
So
over.
really,
And it
really,
says because they're quite
if
social,
you've got a school
you can't just
field,
have one,
then
you
you're
have to
all
have two.
so
Like dogs. That's
I
ridiculous.
wouldn't buy one. Why
Get
do
them-
they think?
no,
Why are they
they're
trying
really
to sell
cute,
two?
aren't they? They're nice.
Who's saying that? That's so irresponsible.
This was in the news. I think it was the Metro.
Oh, that's unbelievable.
That
I'm going to
bastion
stop.
of
I'm going to
news
stop picking up the
headlines.
metro on the way to work now.
Get wallabies.
Because I can't imagine Peter releasing a statement to the press that said,
Peter?
people for the ethical treatment of animals.
Oh no, I haven't heard of that.
Yeah, well they're big on the ethical treatment of animals, and
Right.
I can't believe them. I can't believe like them releasing a statement that says, you know what we need? More wallabies in people's homes.
Specifically in the UK.
Yeah, specifically in the UK as well.
They
It's a
have
crazy
started
thing
breeding
to
them
do.
in the
I
UK
mean,
though.
well, I know, but especially in a recession, don't ask in a recession, and don't ask for them to take on two. Just take one and get your next door neighbour to get one. You've already got a 20-foot fence to outlay.
Can I just say right now, don't get any because it's cruel.
If you've got an acre of land, it'll be all right. That reminds me, actually, one thing I was going to say about Twycross. I was really surprised by how little space they had. I mean, the animals did all have all the things they needed, but I was quite surprised. Like, you'd have quite a few monkeys in an area the size of that back garden there, and I thought they'd have like, I don't know, an acre or something that could just run around, and it was about the same shape as well. And I was really quite surprised. And the sort of the houses that sort of went out onto that area of land was only about the size of, let's say, your average sitting room or something like that. So I was
Yeah.
quite surprised at that.
I was as a kid I always felt really bad for the animals in London Zoo. I thought that was especially bad, like conditions.
I can't
wise.
remember. I was too little when I went to. I'd like to go to the London Zoo. but
I haven't
can't
been for a long
remember.
time. I haven't been for a long time. I went to Taronga Zoo in Sydney. That was fantastic.
Yeah.
You could see. You've been there.
Yeah.
You could see the animals against the Sydney harbour skyline. It was just amazing. It was fantastic.
Did you go up on the lift as well?
Yeah,
You, like,
on
go
the
over
cable
the
car,
top
and you
of
go
all
over the giraffes and the
Yeah.
elephants and all the animals. It's amazing.
I think what I prefer to do is go through a safari park like Longleat because they are more in the natural habitat.
Yeah.
There.
Have you ever been to West Midlands Safari Park? We went there
Where's
on a
that?
school trip. West Midlands?
Well, no, I know, but where is it? What
I
town is it?
can't
in?
remember.
So I'm unlikely to go as a result of this conversation, but go
Well,
on.
Google it, it'll come up, right? But yeah, anyway, and we went on a school trip
Were you
there,
map reading?
and we were all in a coach. No, it wasn't map reading. We were all in a coach, and
we're
the
here,
coach
driver.
drivers went mental
Where are we? West
because we
Midlands.
went.
Midlands.
We've arrived.
We
That's it,
went.
it was on that sign off the motorway.
We went.
Stop the coach.
We went through the monkey enclosure, and we had to come to a stop, and all the monkeys jumped on and ripped off the windscreen wipers, and the drivers went mental. And
What do you mean they went mental? Were they fit to drive you home? What were you expecting to happen? A monkey to offer a plate of biscuits and a flipping cup of tea? What?
Well,
It's not
it-
PG tips.
They're
That.
monkeys.
It was quite funny though.
Do you reckon if he'd have just floored it, they'd have just jumped you out of the way? Like something off speed?
Ah.
Anyway, next headline that I thought, it's probably not even funny to someone listening to this down the line, but it was something along the lines of 5-year-old girl found in Russian flat being raised by cats and dogs.
That's like something out the Jungle Book.
Yeah,
It's exactly
it is
like
the Jungle
something
Book.
like from the... Yeah, exactly like that. It is. And I thought... And it said that there was no plumbing in the flat, and when strangers came into the flat that she didn't know, obviously strangers, she would sort of lunge at them and start barking. Well, it just
Barking?
amused me.
Was she brought
Sorry.
up by cats or dogs?
Cats and dogs.
Oh, both,
Cats and
okay.
dogs. That makes it all right. But
Yeah,
I've got to
I'd
take
say
issue with
cats.
this
Well,
because
I'll explain the difference.
young
Cats
was-
don't bark.
Alright, that was
That's
why I
the
was a
difference.
little
Barking
bit
gives it
confused.
away.
Yeah, yeah.
Dogs, innit?
how young would she have to be that she thought it was all right to bark at passers-by? I don't understand this.
Well, they weren't. They were sort of child
Intruders.
carers or whatever coming into the flat.
Intruders.
I mean, why
But
did they
what I
not
want to
take
know
this
is-
child away?
Well, they did. They have done now.
After 5 years?
She's only just been found, hasn't she? How would they know?
Well,
It was
who's
only
been
when it was
feeding her?
reported.
How's she been eating?
Well, I'm guessing.
I mean, has the cat been going down to the supermarket, getting a few tins of...
No, when it says brought up by, it just means brought up alongside.
Sponsored
really?
by Kitty Cat.
What, so like...
There was an owner, right? There was an owner who probably had the kid, probably
they brought
possibly a
their
parent,
kid up as
and
a
lots
cat
of dogs and
or a
cats.
dog.
And they just let it run wild in the apartment, didn't clean up after it and that, didn't teach it to talk and walk on, like mums and dads do. And obviously that person's now been hunted and they've fled basically, but she's only just been found, so obviously someone's reported it for some reason, either it could be the smell coming through, because it was in an apartment or whatever. And I thought, well, it's a really sad story, but funny at the same time. I just think, imagine sort of being a member of social services, you've sort of managed to get a skeleton key that opens the front door, whatever they do, or they've not bashed it down. Gingerly open the door, you think, oh shit, loads of dogs and cats. Am I going to get attacked? That's what I would think. And I think, oh god, there's a baby here. The baby lunges at you barking.
Last thing you're
I'd
expecting.
take a step back and I'd say, alright, dog, cat. What? Hold on a minute. Right? She couldn't speak properly and all that. But I thought it was an interesting animal headline. And there was another one, I've forgotten it, so that's no use.